So my name is Julie Rodrigues Whitholm. I'm curator at the Museum of Contemporary Art in Chicago. My professional background is that I studied art history and political science in undergrad, and then I got a master's in art history immediately following my undergrad. While I was in school, I interned at a couple of museums, and when I graduated, I got a one-year position at the Museum of Contemporary Art as a research assistant, and then that just became a permanent position, and I took on more projects, assisted the chief curator, the senior curator at the time, and continued to take on more projects and grow in my position so that now I'm curator. When I was in undergrad, it was just very informal internship, kind of volunteering at the museum in the education department. I loved it. I was there for, I think, a year. I started an organization called the Curator Art Museum Student Association, and we just had different film screenings and talks, and excuse me, I just liked to be involved in the programming around the museum. When I was in graduate school, it was a little bit more formalized to get an internship. We had what we called a work-study program, so I would get credit for university, or for my master's. I would get credit for doing the internship, so they could pay me a little bit, and also I would get credit, which would count toward my coursework. So that's how I got those. I mean, and you had to apply, send in the application, and then I don't remember if I had an interview or not, but the internships were generally 3 months. It's a very long process. First, I tried to think about the museum where I work, the identity of the museum, our audience, what other exhibitions we have planned, and think about what we need to add to the schedule to balance things out, to show something that maybe we're not already planning. So I travel a lot. I go to art fairs. I do studio visits whenever I travel. I ask artists that I know who I should go visit. I ask other curators who I should go visit. So I have a sort of base of knowledge already, and I can think about what would make sense at a certain time at the museum. So then if I have an idea for a specific time in the schedule, I propose it to the chief curator. We talk about it. If he likes the idea, he discusses it with our director, and then it becomes on the schedule. Yeah, so I usually work directly with the artist, but we usually will have gallery support as well. So early on, I will contact an artist gallery and ask them for suggestions on who might want to support the exhibition, like who's a fan of the artist. We will also ask them for images that we can use to publicize the show. So for our website, for the catalog, for press, all of that, we collect images usually from the gallery. So it's very much a collaboration. It's not me, the curator, saying this is what we're doing. Rather, it's very much a collaboration together with the artist to create a vision for the show. And then I see myself as a facilitator to kind of help make it happen. Well, it's never boring. I enjoy it. I've been a curator now for 15 or 16 years. It's constantly an environment where you're learning new things always, and you have to have many different skills. You have to be able to do research and write, but you also have to be an administrator. You have to know how to communicate, send emails, send letters. You have to know how to fundraise, at least in the United States. You have to be able to fundraise for your exhibitions, garner support. You have to be very diplomatic. You have to be able to negotiate. You have to be able to work within budgets. You have to make budgets, travel arrangements. I mean, a curator does many, many things, not just hang artworks in a gallery, There's a lot of psychological aspects. Obviously the intellectual rigor of kind of making art history when you're working with an artist. But the pragmatic, logistical details are many. There are a lot of logistical things that have to be worked out in exhibitions. Yeah. I guess my only advice is to really think about why you want to become a curator, because it's It's a serious undertaking. It's not just playing, it's not just fun, it's very serious. And I think people need to understand that when you present work to the public, there's a responsibility with that. And we have to consider very carefully why we're choosing the artists that we work with and what the motivation is, and maintain integrity in presenting work to a public.